Have you guys experienced an episode of Heropanti in your real life? Somebody was a real life hero.
My dad has been my real life hero. My mother has been my real life hero. So many times when I used to get in trouble in school, I was not a very good student, but they used to always stand up for me. They used to still stand up for me.
Yeah.
So I thought that was, they've always stood up for me and been my hero.
I have a twin sister who has been my strength all my life, literally, figuratively, in every way. I used to get bullied a lot when I was a kid in school and in college, actually, and she has literally been my hero. She used to come into school even in the 3rd and 4th grade, and if someone said something to me, she would, hold them against the wall. And she's actually shorter than I am. She's been my hero because she's always stood up for me. She's always answered back to people that thought that I wouldn't answer back. So she's my hero.
Hello everyone, welcome to ETimes. I'm Rachit Gupta. Today we've got the team of Heropanti 2 with us. We've got Shroff and Tara Sutaria. Hi guys, how are you?
Hey, how are you? Thanks for having us.
Good. Guys, we'll just jump into the first question. I've seen Heropanti, I've seen the trailer of Heropanti 2. So the first question that came to mind was, have you guys experienced an episode of Heropanti in your real life? Is there an episode you guys remember? Somebody saved someone, somebody was a real life hero? Could be your parents, could be your friends.
I mean, my dad has been my real life hero. My mother has been my real life hero. So many times when I used to get in trouble in school, I was not a very good student, but they used to always stand up for me. And they used to always be my hero and sort of not let, even though I was wrong most of the time in class, they used to still stand up for me.
Yeah.
So I thought that was, they've always stood up for me and been my hero.
Tara?
I have a twin sister who has been my strength all my life, literally, figuratively, in every way. I used to get bullied a lot when I was a kid in school and in college, actually, and she has literally been my hero. She used to come into school even in the 3rd and 4th grade, and if someone said something to me, I used to have this habit of going into the corner of the class at the back and whatever, just being there and being alone. And she used to always come and she would talk to these people. She would, hold them against the wall. And she's actually shorter than I am, and she's always been smaller than I am. But she's always been, she's been my hero because she's always stood up for me. She's always answered back to people that thought that I wouldn't answer back. So she's my hero.
Right. Sisters always have a very strong connection, right?
Yes.
Great.
Especially twins.
Especially twins.
Yeah.
Especially twins. Tiger, who were your heroes growing up? I know you must have been, I know you're a huge Jackie Chan fan. You've professed that.
Yeah.
You've been a huge fan of a lot of our Bollywood stars as well. So any particular heroes and their stories that you've grown up with?
In the industry, you're saying? Or
Anyone. In
anyone?
the industry, outside, could be an athlete. People you've looked up to, who've been your heroes as a child.
I mean, there are so many. Like you named a couple. If I were to pick somebody from the industry, I would pick, perhaps Hrithik sir, because he's had, the stories that he's told me of what challenges he's faced, becoming a hero,
Yeah.
when the doctors told him he could never do action or never dance, for a certain problem. He used to say he had a stammering problem as well. And he couldn't say his dialogues, and how he's gotten over that and how he's, perfected the craft in every department. And I think, when you watch him on screen, none of it shows, and it feels like, how can this man have, had those problems?
Right.
Because when you see him now, he's immaculate.
Yeah. So when you work with him in a film like War,
Yeah.
are these things playing on your mind? Are you sort of, forever sort of looking up to him?
I'm just always in awe, and I think that's what came across in War also. My character was in awe of him, and I had to sort of just be myself, really.
Right.
And it was quite easy to be in awe of him, and just so much to learn from. And
Right.
it was fun being directed by him, fun being, walking next to him, giving hero shots with him, doing action with him, dancing with him. I mean, that was my dream, to work with him someday. I mean, when I was, growing up, and when I wanted to become an actor, I said, I want to be like him someday, and I want to dance like him someday. And then finally, when, I got to work with him.
Great. Tara, any such dreams have come true for you thus far?
So many dreams have come true. Before I got into the industry, a very big tick for me on my bucket list happened. I was living in London for a couple of months, working on a project I was meant to do in that part of the world, which involved music and dance and a lot of, theater kind of acting. And it was a musical film and a film that I had actually seen an animated version of when I was growing up. And so I was about to be part of that film because they were remaking it, adapting it into an actual feature. So that was a huge tick for me. But yeah, so many dreams have come true. I'm singing in my next film,
Right.
which is something that I've always wanted to do. And hopefully every film going forward, I'll sing for those as well. So that's another tick for me.
Okay. That's a very interesting point you brought up. Tiger, you've been praised by AR Rahman sir for singing, especially for this film. So how did you react to that? How did that sort of come up?
It was a huge honor for me, obviously. My producer and director wanted me to sing for the movie, and they thought that it would be a great time for me to express that ability also that I've recently sort of, ventured into. And Rahman sir was, kind enough to allow me to do it and to not be too harsh, and he was generous with his words,
Yeah.
even though I wasn't very good, he was just very generous with what he had to say. So I'm just grateful that I got a chance to work with the maestro. Yeah.
But you seem to disagree to his singing.
He's being humble. He's
Yeah.
fantastic.
She's just being nice to me right now.
Okay, that's good camaraderie. Tara, something I was noticing on your IMDb profile was you started off with Student of the Year 2. You've done Masakali 2. You're doing Heropanti 2. There is equivalent returns, but again, it is also equivalent 2. So is 2 your lucky number?
Is it? That's a very good question. It's nothing. It hasn't been a conscious decision or choice. It's, I think, just happened on its own. But a lot of people ask me this, but that it's not really been a conscious decision.
Okay.
The films that I've got after Villain Returns they're definitely not sequels. They're first of its kind, and maybe I'll break the chain of
Break the
sequels
chain.
with that. Yeah.
Cool. And also something, I saw that you're handling a lot of comedy. There's a lot of physical comedy and all. And they say comedy is the toughest genre for an actor. So do you sort of agree? And when you were sort of preparing for this role, was that sort of playing on your mind?
Growing up, I did a lot of comedy. I was the ambassador for Disney when I was in my teens, and most of the situational comedies and things that Disney has on their channel involve a lot of comedy with your body, with your voice, with your modulation. That's kind of what Disney that represents a lot of Disney shows. So I've been really interested and fascinated with comedies even romantic comedies and things like that since I was a kid. Even with my theatre sort of productions, there's always comedy in theatre as well. So I think I've just been accustomed to it for a long time. And you're right, they do say that it is the most difficult, despite not looking like it's the most difficult. But this is very different. It is obviously very situational in Heropanti too. It just sort of happened when you have someone like Ahmed sir on set. He himself is a walking, talking comedy very often because he's got a great sense of humor as well. And he's a great mimic as well. And I would like to think I'm pretty good at mimicking as well. So it just sort of fell into place and we fooled around with it. We had fun with it and it was great.
Right, great. And I was reading just before the interview, I was reading that you guys totaled a couple of Lamborghinis in a action sequence. So, question is to both of you. When you were young, have you guys managed to crash a car and how did your parents react to it? Kind of with you first.
I haven't crashed a car. I've been in crashes.
Okay.
And I was very young, and I don't remember much about those incidents, but it felt bad crashing Lambos, man. They're such beautiful cars, and I'm just very, very grateful that I got to do a sequence with such, amazing machines around me. Yeah.
Right. And Tara, when you say look at Tiger doing all these hi-fi stunts, he's emulating like almost Jackie Chan style action. Does that inspire you to take up a couple of kicks and punches yourself?
I think everyone has their strengths, and Tiger's strength is definitely action and dance and music, and he's just so good at everything that he's honestly, touched so far. But for me, my strength is music, and closer towards like theater and things like that. So I think everyone has their strengths, and I would probably get inspired by the music that he creates and his amazing records that he's come out with. But obviously, I love watching his action, and I've been a part of 2 films with him now, where, it is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But I think I would be more inspired by the music or the dance because we share that more in common.
Right. Yes. In the trailer, Tiger, especially the second trailer that I saw, there's the final shot where you're saying something. There's probably an expletive involved, and you sort of, self-censor yourself. So has that ever happened in real life where गलती से expletives निकल गए and you're in sort of a tight spot?
Luckily, no, because I'm the kind of guy who doesn't talk too much, but I have an inner monologue happening constantly, and sometimes that gets quite loud, and sometimes I almost feel like the person in front of me can hear what I'm saying, just looking at them, because I'm just constantly, talking to myself. Yeah.
Tara, you ever had such a situation?
Where I
you
said
just
something...
sort of an expletive just hurled out and then you're in a tight spot.
Till very recently, I didn't know a lot of these words also. So to be very honest with you, no, luckily so far that hasn't really, I don't think that's really happened. Especially not in a professional setting, so I'm lucky.
Tara, in terms of your career, I know you're doing so many action films. There's obviously dance and action is your forte, as Tara also said. But do you feel the need now to sort of step out of your comfort zone and try something that you would never imagine yourself in?
No, I genuinely don't feel the need to. I believe in why fix something that's not broken.
Right.
And the audiences have given me so much love for a particular thing. And it's my way of giving them back again and again, in terms of just putting on my best foot forward and giving them the show that they want to see. And I think that's the least I can do for, the people who have accepted me, my fans and my loved ones.
But the fans also sort of appreciate, say, when a star does something that they were not expecting. And it's also part of a personal...
I watch my films quite a bit in single screens because I'm primarily, an actor who caters to tier 2, tier 3 single screens, mass belts. So I've noticed what people react to, what they don't react to. Personally, from my experience, I've noticed when I say a certain punchline, when there's dialogue buzzy, or when my shirt rips off, or when I'm in the midst of an action sequence or about to get into an action sequence, is when I hear the loudest reactions. So that's sort of engraved in my memory, and I know what those beats are in my film. And even when I'm reading the script, I know, okay, I know I'm going to get a reaction here, I know I'm going to get a reaction here. I may not get a reaction here, but sometimes it's very interesting that people react on the most random things. Like there's a meme that's going around on one of my old dialogues right now, and I don't know what it is about that line, but it's just going crazy. So you never know what clicks, really.
I know. I mean, somebody told me about this yesterday, and I had to Google it.
Yeah.
And it just did not throw up any concrete answer. It's
there we go.
Social media trend that just sort of caught up. Interesting. Okay, so just one final question, Tara. When you're sort of when you're dancing with Tiger, when you're sort of matching those steps, is there a pressure? He's one of the best dancers we have. Or as you said, music is your thing, or you're totally you're cool into it?
No, I've actually been training in dance since I was 5 years old. So it's something that comes to me very naturally. Luckily, my parents put my twin sister and I in dance lessons since we were very little, because we were always completely enamored by the dance world and music world. So it's actually fun because it's not every day you come across somebody that enjoys dance as much as Tiger does. And from my first film till now, the main topic of conversation when we're not filming is dance videos from, yesteryear actors from the 50s and 60s, or music videos and things like that we sort of share in common. So it's really fun to keep working with Tiger so that we can constantly create more musically and dance-wise.
Right. Tiger, do you feel she's a good dancer?
She's brilliant. I mean, obviously, because she has been training for the majority of her life. And because she's so passionate about it. And especially when the two of us are dancing together, I think we complement each other a lot.
And we actually learn the
yeah,
steps really quickly,
which
which is great.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
And best of luck for the film.
Thank you very
Thanks so
much.
much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us at ETimes.